being in the South definitely affects my photography in actually every possible way. I was lucky to grow up in a very rich environment around very rich people, not financially rich, but people that were great storytellers. In 1988, I went on an adventure up to Mississippi with a friend who's a writer. And he says, you know, it's going to be an incredible trip. So we went. It seemed like a much lonelier place than Louisiana, where I had worked in the sugarcane fields. I was attracted to the loneliness, you know, and so I didn't go back for quite a while. And when I did go back to some of the same places, the towns were just falling to pieces. And the downtown buildings had no roofs and everything was toppling in. And, you know, I just went for a couple of days and took a couple of pictures. And the reason I never photographed more until I received the Picturing the South grant was because it was 6 hours away from where I lived. It was expensive to go. I also like to go with an assistant once friends got bored coming with me, you know. And, you know, I was a photographer making a living, and when I'd have extra money selling prints, you know, I might go to Mississippi or I might go somewhere else. And it was something I always wanted to do and spend time doing it. And then met Brett Abbott. And I actually had a portfolio with me, not any pictures of Mississippi. And I told him, I said, you know, I started this project in North Louisiana and Mississippi, and I'd love to really spend some time there. And that's when he said, well, you know, let's talk about it. You know, I've always had you on my mind about getting a Picture in the South grant, and so this might be a perfect time. I think my photographs, particularly the last year that I photographed on the commission from the museum, are a document of the time. I'm not thinking when I'm taking the picture about all that. I mean, I see a photograph of a guy named Junior who I got to know, you know, from going to this town over and over, you know, for a couple of years. But with the commission, I saw him more in a 1-year period than, you know, ever. And so I really got close to him. And now when I look at the picture, this particular photograph, and I hope when people look at it, that they'll have some understanding of, by looking in his face, the hardship and what a life this man lived. You know, he's this incredible old guy, and he is suffering. But then, on the other hand, I know Junior, who's full of joy. But I don't seem to ever catch those pictures. And I think I might be attracted to people who have suffered and have broken hearts, and who, despite all the hardships, have you know, they show it in their face, especially when they're still and you do a portrait of them. It's not that I feel the ache, I recognize it, I think, visually. And that's how this incredible picture, the last picture I took of Junior, was. And I hope people will be moved by it. Somebody once wrote something about me. They said, it's not a wonder I take the pictures that I do, living where I do. You know, with the cultural differences and the whole scene down in the South and the, you know, the bayous, and it's not a wonder that I would choose this path.